Well, that's our first take this morning, security and the call for credible elections in these off-cycle elections that we're having in the weekend ahead. It remains a thing, which of course informed our own conversation yesterday on election security at our town hall on election security. So let's have some conversations around this morning with Mr. Tunde Ajibolu, who is a member of the 2023 APC Presidential Campaign Council. He's also a campaign planning committee. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
As well as Dr. Adetokunbo Pierce, a member of 2023 PDP National Presidential Campaign Council in Lagos. He's also here with us in the studio. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning.
Let me begin with you, Mr. Ajibolu. First of all, the rhetorics going on, particularly in Imo State, rhetorics going on in Bayelsa, in Kogi, is it a concern for you and your party?
When you say rhetorics, what exactly do
particularly
you mean?
In terms of insecurity, which of course, you know, INEC has raised the alarm about.
Yes, but the Inspector General of Police, the last time I checked, in fact, as at yesterday, the Commissioner of Police in Imo State has been redeployed. And there was a press briefing with the Inspector General of Police and the Chief of Defense Staff. And they've assured Nigerians they're going to do all it takes to make sure the elections are free, credible, and devoid of security issues.
Yes. Dr. Pierce, is this something satisfactory to you, the assurance of the IGP?
Well, this is not the first time we're having elections in Nigeria. The challenges are always the same. Incumbents always find it difficult to be fair. So the challenges are there. IG, that's part of the problem we have in Nigeria. Is it now when a lot of damage has been done? Because what is happening in Imo State, it's obvious that the incumbent is doing everything to make sure that he gets his way, and anybody who appears to be asking for accountability on behalf of the people, because the accusation there, the allegation there in Imo is that governor has not paid their salaries, governor is honoring minimum wage, and so many problems. And then the next thing we know, people who are complaining on behalf of the people are beaten up, arrested, and abused. So how can one say that the Inspector General of Police now be deploying another person to be in charge is going to make a difference overnight? We have serious problems, always in our elections. And actually, we just pray that we go through this period and then begin to go and find real solutions to our electoral problems. The Inspector General of Police represents the interests of the federal government. That's the problem we have. So policing has to change. We have to have state police. We have to defer power to the states so that we can have proper security in the states, for the states. What we have now is federal government trying its best to police places where the interests of the people is not taken care of by the federal government. The governor is supposed to be the chief security officer in the state, but the fact of the matter is the inspector of police in the state does not report to him, reports to the federal government. So we have these problems. So not only in Imo State, Kogi State is known for violence, and the governor now has a very bad reputation that everything is war. So we're just praying that we have a fair election, but it is always a problem with incumbents.
But at the end of the day, it comes back to the political class, and it's not just dependent on one particular party. It's like it's something that is being recorded against every political party. The rhetorics of politicians, particularly chieftains of political parties, and all of that has been a concern. Doesn't it come back to the political actors in each of these elections, be it the person who is in office or the opposition?
Sorry, can I interject briefly, please?
Okay.
So it's always amazing You see how it's so convenient when opposition. It's so convenient when the opposition party is not in power. It is very convenient when the opposition party wins elections. So he's saying that the Inspector General of Police cannot be trusted. Basically, that's what he's saying, that he's representing the interest of the federal government. Okay, so what has happened in states that PDP won? What has happened in states that Labour Party won? You understand? So we need to just...
well, it comes back to the question that I asked about whether or not it is not a political rhetoric for politicians, such as yourselves, gentlemen.
You are right. Look. I don't get into this business of partisan politics. It's too shallow. We have serious problems with the structure of Nigeria. That's the point I made. It's not about whether somebody, as any government in power, it's very difficult to have fair election because they control too much. For instance, the whole electoral system has to change. Otherwise, it's just a prayer. It's a Hail Mary to have any fair election.
Is it a question of the... Just a second. Is it a question of the of the electoral system changing, or the people playing the politics that needs to change?
Anywhere in the world.
Both.
Look, human beings are the same anywhere in the world. They do not obey the law unless there's enforcement of the law. It is the system that determines whether you're going to have fairness, you're going to have real democracy or not. It's not about the individuals. If you find an individual in the position where he can take advantage, he will do so. So we talk about this all the time. We say Nigeria political class. Have you ever seen anywhere in the world where the political class is not at war with each other? The only difference between the countries is the system that they have. For instance, can you imagine in America if the INEC chairman of, let us say, in the US was in charge of elections the way INEC chairman has so much power here? You think that Donald Trump would not have won the election when he said he didn't agree that Biden won? He would have just instructed him, don't declare. Simple as that, which he tried to do. The system kept him under check. We should, when people like us meet here, we shouldn't be talking about parties this and parties that. Let's talk about our system in this country. It has to change. If it doesn't change, we are not going to have any credible election. Okay. It's just a prayer if we do.
Okay. You wanted to add a word or two?
Yeah, so, I was going to say that we have to be thankful for what we have. I'm not holding like a fatalistic approach to these things. Our policy has been evolving over time. We've seen where an incumbent president lost an election and gave in. We've seen where incumbent governors lost elections. We've seen our judiciary. We've seen what has been happening in recent times. And this is not about partisan politics. Yes, there's a problem in Nigeria, there's no doubt about it. But the government of the day is doing the possible best they can to mitigate all these issues that we're dealing with. Yes. So it's not about partisan politics. It's not about, at the end of the day, we're all Nigerians,
but
basically.
The concern has always been the build-up to our elections is always problematic. And that's what I would like you to speak to now, particularly in this cycle elections of Imo, of Bayelsa, and Kogi governorship elections.
I'm from Kogi State. Okay. Do you understand? So I can speak about certain things in Kogi State. And then my take might actually shock you. And then, so you understand that, that I'm far from partisan as alluded. I'm from Kogi State. I joined the APC in 2014. I am an APC man through and through. I've handled national assignments at the highest possible level, including chairing a gubernatorial primaries and delivering my candidate. Now, I must say, in these elections going on in Kogi State, I must say that I'm not supporting the APC candidate. I'm not supporting the APC candidate.
Why is that?
I'm supporting the ADC candidate, who used to be in APC. So there's a lot of things happening in Kogi State that a lot of people don't understand. The governor has hijacked the structure of the party. And
isn't he supposed to be the leader of the party in your state?
well, he's supposed to be the leader. Well, when you're a leader, I believe you should be all-inclusive. What has ADC become in Kogi? ADC has become a platform for disgruntled people that left APC. That's where they go to find a voice. So for these elections, I'm supporting Leke Abejide, who's in the House of Reps, who worked 110% for the president to emerge. ADC basically is an extension of APC in Kogi State. You understand? And for me, at the end of the day, I am loyal. The leader of my party is the president and the chairman. I have not, maybe if I lived in Kogi, maybe if I played that type of politics, maybe I'll be in ADC.
Wouldn't you be accused of what you guys call anti-party activities?
Why would I be accused of anti-party?
Isn't it anti-party to support another party?
I worked extremely hard for my president. The person I'm supporting worked extremely hard for my president to emerge. Do you understand? And then there's a deeper problem. In Kogi State, I'm Yoruba from Kogi. They call us the Okuns. All through the years, we have never produced a governor, even when we're in Kwara State. The Egbiras at least had a governor once in Kwara State. So what has happened now? How did Kogi even come to? How was Kogi formed? The Yoruba people played almost 60–70% of the role in forming Kogi State. There are three major tribes: the Igalas, the Egbiras, and the Yorubas. His soul rest in peace, Prince Abubakar Audu. We know he won that election. His major campaign thrust was power shift. That was his major campaign thrust, and my people voted en masse for him. Then something happens. Fate, he dies. There's a lacuna, and it was never happened before in the history of Nigeria, and is open to translation. And then they decided the person that came second in the primaries should be governor, who was Governor Yaya Bello. So this was handed over to him on a platter of gold. Then, 8 years down the line, he brings somebody from his polling unit, to come, and it's not a family affair.
So how is this likely to affect election security in the state?
Election security, like I said, the IG of police, the chief of defense staff, I believe in the instruments of law and order in Nigeria.
Okay.
Do you understand? I believe in that. And then it's a standard operating practice. Why do they change commissioners of police? Why do they change military people? I mean, just on the off chance you've been compromised. Just on the off chance you've been compromised.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Prince, yes. Do you, Dr. Pierre, do you see that change? I know that we asked you this question earlier, but do you see a change of the CP of any state, any of these states, Imo in particular, given the issues that you raised earlier, has been significant in ensuring election security in Imo State?
Not at all. You see, the way the system is, the governor has too much influence, and therefore the commissioner himself, who knows, the fact that there's a new commissioner doesn't mean he's not compromised. So until the system, the whole system, look, let me tell you something. I'm looking at, well, Kogi is gone anyway. I think the alternative to governorship in Kogi is the PDP candidate. I think he's going to win. There are senators, former senators of APC, who are already saying that they're not supporting their own candidate. Now you are saying you are not supporting, and this is an extension of
but not
APC.
PDP. No, not PDP.
Well,
no,
not
PDP.
Good luck.
PDP does not stand a chance in Kogi State.
Look.
Let him.
Yes.
The candidate you are supporting, ADC, is an extension of APC. APC has failed, so the extension will also fail. So the alternative is the PDP. So that's my take. Now, let's see what happens.
Even though about 16 political parties are contesting in that state.
Well, there are 100 political parties in Nigeria. The main parties are APC and PDP. Let's face it. These are the two parties that have strong structures.
Why are you putting Labour Party? Why are you putting SDP? These people put up a good showing in our politics.
They have a good showing.
The ADC candidate is a member of the House of Reps.
The Labour Party,
based on him Another person has recently been elected in Kogi State, representing the Kababunu. Right, ADC as well.
The Labour Party
PDP does not stand a chance.
The Labour Party is a distant third party in Nigeria now. The main parties in Nigeria, let's face it, look at the National Assembly spread, you see what's going on there. It's between the PDP and the APC. So anyway, to tell you how concerned I am about politics in Nigeria, imagine 2027, and the INEC chairman that bungled the last election is still going to be the INEC chairman. And if he's not the INEC chairman, because he should have been fired immediately after this election, fired. If the president is keeping him, it's because he's done him a favor. We have a problem there.
Exactly what was his offense?
His offense, all the promises he made about electronic transmission of results, nothing was achieved.
And you don't think the judgment of the Supreme Court, up to the Supreme Court was significant?
The judgment of the Supreme Court had nothing to do with the performance of INEC. The Supreme Court had no way of keeping INEC, of making INEC do its job. It was not about that. What the Supreme Court could do, that's part of the problem. How can INEC have so much power? The one man had so much power, and that man was appointed by the president.
Do you think INEC is ready for this election?
INEC can never be ready for election. We must totally dismantle INEC. Look, this is the problem with this country. And I'm saying it now, and you're going to see people coming to repeat exactly what I'm saying. INEC has to be dismantled. INEC is a dysfunctional system. There are many countries where we have a federation like this. In the United States, for instance, where I lived for 20 years and worked in politics for 20 years, let me tell you, unless you have a system where you decentralize elections, as they have in the US, every Secretary of State in every state is the returning officer in the state. That is what we must have. And we must also change the local election structure, whereby any government in power, any government in any state will determine exactly what happens in the state assembly, will determine what happens in the local government elections, will determine what happens in the federal elections in their state, because they control everything.
Do you think we're mature, our politics is mature enough for that?
No, we must change it. This is the point.
But the players, let me come to you, Mr. Chibuli. You wanted to...
Yeah, please, first things first. I think I would like for you to take something back. You do not allude that my president, that the INEC chairman did my president a favor. He's also your president. You will not allude to that.
What makes you think Tinubu is my president?
You will not allude. Are you American?
No, he's not my president.
Are you American?
No.
Are you American?
I am not an American.
Are you Ghanaian?
I am in Nigeria.
You're in Nigeria. There's a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If he's not your president, then you're not a Nigerian.
I refuse to accept him.
Maybe you move to Ghana.
No. Yeah. Listen.
I have the floor, and I was saying something else. So first things first, I said I will not take that, number one. And then I'm happy you asked him something. Do you know any better than the Supreme Court? Do you know any better than the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Are you a judge?
I can tell you what happened at the Supreme Court.
It's a court that has granted your party victories at all levels. Our judicial system in Nigeria. You see, it's always so sad, when opposition, when things are just not going their way, it's all like a pity party. That's when they come up with all these things. They keep quiet when things go their way. How many PDP senators now did cut, do you understand? He's not speaking to that. He comes to this, but my own is, you will not insult my president in this forum. That's all. Please, let's show respect. The man has contested an election, and he has won it, and he's the sworn-in president of Nigeria.
So
please, gentlemen, let's make a little progress, because we have just about 5 minutes.
I can criticize anybody.
You can criticize, but you said it's not your president. If it's not your president, you're not Nigerian.
The first person that we criticize,
if it's not your president, you're not Nigerian.
Is the head of state, is the president.
Nobody's saying don't critique.
Now, if this is happening within this, this sane environment, I wonder what is happening among your supporters all over the place, and how this will play out on the electorate.
We are going to have free, and fair elections. The organs of states are going to play a critical role in ensuring that this happens. No matter what anybody is postulating, no matter what anybody is saying, maybe that's even their wish. Maybe that's what they want to happen. But no, they'll be put to shame. The elections are going to be free and they're going to be fair.
I hope so. But I tell you this, let me put it on record today. So long as the president of Nigeria is the one that appoints the INEC chairman, there cannot be free election in Nigeria. Okay?
So you're saying that the 1999 election, the 2003 elections, the 2007 elections and all, they were not free and fair?
As long.
Of course.
Is that what you're saying?
Of course they were free and fair. PDP won now.
No.
It was very fair.
But don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, was it fair?
No, just allow him to. Dr. Pierce, are you saying that all the elections we've had so far have not been free and fair? Is that what you're saying?
This is the point I'm making. So long as the president, whoever he is or she is the one appointing the INEC chairman, he who pays the piper calls the tune. We can never have free elections in Nigeria.
So what
we
is
have
the PDP?
To change this.
What's the
Forget
PDP
about
doing?
What happened.
Just a second. What's the PDP doing about that? The PDP has led the National Assembly. Just a second.
Okay.
The PDP has led the National Assembly. The PDP has played opposition in the National Assembly. What has your members, senators, members of the House of Representatives in the National Assembly done about this? Your suggestion?
Well, people like me have always advocated that if you go to the National Assembly, your principal objective should be to argue for a revision of the 1999 Constitution so that we can have a restructured federation whereby you devolve power to the states, okay? Whereby you decentralize the structure of elections. These are the reasons why we supported Atiku in the 2023 election, because of a commitment to restructuring the Nigerian Federation along the lines of devolution of power to the states, decentralization of government, including INEC, so that the states will control their elections in every state. So long as you have the state government in charge of the local election structure, you can never have free elections. So I'm not talking about PDP, I'm talking about Nigeria.
Okay, fine.
For the betterment of democracy in Nigeria.
This is what we have now.
Yes.
We have elections coming on November 11. Barely 5 days to that date. Now, one of the issues that we have had is voter apathy. A reduced number of people for every election come out to vote. Do you see that reversing in the elections ahead?
No. There'll be voter apathy because of the reasons I'm giving you. Let me tell you, everything I say here is what people are saying on the streets. They have already assumed that this election is gone. The governor is going to dictate. Yaya Bello is going to put violence in the streets. He's going to scare people from voting. He's trying to get his... So why are you going to vote?
You don't think the Nigeria police has the capacity to mitigate that?
The people of Nigeria don't believe in the police. Is it the same police that stops you on the way?
Do you have research to buttress the fact that Nigerians do not believe in the police?
You know that there's nobody, no research has come out to tell you otherwise.
Okay.
You know that.
All right.
We all know that.
Do you see us stalling, retracing or reversing voter apathy in the
People are going to come out en masse to come and vote. There's been enough voter sensitization. And over the
Are you sure there's been enough voter sensitization?
Yes. And over our election cycles, we've started seeing something. We've started seeing the voting population voting for candidates as opposed to parties. There's a realization now that our votes actually count, and that you can come out en masse and make a change.
But do you think that was proven? Just a second. Do you think that was proven in the previous election, in the election of February and March? Because progressively, the more voters we have, the less percentage of people come out to vote.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of things happen, and this is one of the things I would even appeal to INEC to change. Do you understand? So I believe if you're a registered voter in Nigeria, you should be able to vote from anywhere you reside. So if I registered in Kogi State, for instance, I should be able to vote in Lagos. A lot of things happen, deaths, migration. So you find yourself, you have a voter's card, you're ready to vote, but you're nowhere near. Something has taken you away from where you registered, and then you can't vote. That goes a very, very long way. And then, so I attended I attended a school in Nigeria, the Apex Policy think tank for Nigeria, the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. And my project was on electronic voting. Do you understand? The opportunities and challenges vis-a-vis the electronic voting process. So we need, that is very critical. INEC we need to get into that. I should be able to even post my vote. I should be able to vote on my phone. You understand? Until we get to that level, then things will, but it's evolving. We've seen how BVAS, we've seen how everything has been coming up. And then next set of elections, things will be different as well.
So let's close out with this, gentlemen. Mr. Ajula, I'd like you to speak to, particularly your supporters in the states, because those are the people that several information have come out to say are responsible for some of this unrest.
Well, what I will say I speak in my personal capacity. You understand? I'm speaking in my personal capacity, But I will appeal to all the voters, all the supporters out there. And I always say this, it is not a do-or-die affair. Do you understand? It is not a matter of life and death. We go, perform our civic duties, and leave the rest to INEC.
Dr. Pierce.
That's all.
Your address or your counsel or, word of wisdom to those who, particularly political actors in this election, be they the ones in power or the ones in opposition?
The message should go first and foremost to law enforcement to make sure that the election is not stolen by anybody, that people who are in government do not use the authority to steal the election, to deprive people from voting. That is where the whole issue should be. People who are going to vote don't go to vote and cause problems. It is when they get there and they find that they are being excluded, they are being cheated, then there's a problem. So we're talking about law enforcement. The people themselves who are going to vote are not the troublemakers. So it's people who send them out to go and snatch ballot boxes and so on. That's where the problem is. So our appeal should be to people who have authority to make sure that they don't send people out to go and cause confusion, that they let people vote according to their will, according to their choice, make their choice, and let it be.
Okay. Dr. Detokunbo Pierce, member 2023 PDP National Presidential Campaign Council in Lagos State. Thank you so much for your time. As well as Mr. Tunde Ajibulu, member 2023 APC Presidential Campaign Council Campaign Planning Committee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Well, something that we're all aware of happening from today in Lagos is that the third mainland bridge is due to be shut for a while. Our correspondent Daridu is right there on standby to give us a quick update on how far so far. Good morning, Dare. What's the update? Has the arrangement begun? What are the roles like? How are people reacting to it? How are people taking this experience? At least we can see that he is right there right now, but just that quick information to let you know that the third mainland bridge has been put on hold for now. From today, November 6th, Lagos has shut sections of the third mainland bridge, of course in cahoot with the federal agencies in charge. The repairs, according to what we are aware of, is going to last for about 5 weeks, and there have been arrangements made to ensure that the needful is done in that regard. We'll definitely bring you an update in a little while. Do stay with us. Take a short break. We'll be right back for more.